Welcome everybody to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and with me today is special interviewer Adam Maxwell. Adam, how you doing?
We're live, baby.
We're live on the YouTubes, and this is a Patreon exclusive for right now for the wonderful people that support the Three Gun Show on Patreon. And we're doing a match recon of the Gadsden Shotgun Championship 2019 edition. Adam, what's new in your world, buddy?
Well, special bonus for the patrons. This is my new living room. I moved into my new house, so
nice.
I did some decorating.
Looks just like the Vortex Studio. That's amazing.
I know. I liked it so much. I just went upstairs and got in the studio.
I'm really at work.
I'm really at work right now.
Well, it looks fantastic. Looks like you guys decorated a lot more since the last time I was there. It's coming together.
And stuff. I had an important choice to make is which wall I was going to sit in front of. I arrived at this one because of the PMags there.
Yeah, I like it. You know what?
I thought that was classy.
I like. So I wish I was in the studio, in the Vortex studio, before I made my studio, because the 2x4s that go like vertical and horizontal add like depth and give surfaces to absorb sound. Whereas like my smooth walls are just like super echoey. So over here, you can't see it, but I hung up like a piece of carpet that was on the ground. Yeah. And then back up. Oh, not there. Over here, I hung up some acoustic panels that cut down on the echo quite a bit. And then I actually hung some more acoustic panels right above me to get rid of the echo. But most of the surfaces in here are flat. So I just got to keep adding crap, I guess.
Well, I think we just got to put it out to the patrons. They should send you all their empty gun boxes at home.
With all the foam. Yes.
Yeah, we'll just stack all the empty gun boxes of all the three gun instruments in the Three Gun Show studio.
Yeah, I'll just take the foam and we'll recycle the cardboard. That's actually a really good idea, buddy. Send your foam to 723. What is it? 723 University Avenue.
Is that a real address?
Yeah. Oh, hang on real quick here. We'll tell people where to go. If you're let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Hashtag foam drive.
Hashtag foam drive. You can send this to Dave Hartman at 723 West University Avenue, Suite 110-225, Georgetown, Texas 78626. We need your foam.
Dave, get your foam. Your wife gets your basement back. Everybody wins.
Right. If you got like some spare cookies or something like that, we could do that. Toys for the dog.
Room in there. It'll be safe inside. You know, the UPS man won't break them. So, you know, whatever you want to send Dave, send him a little care package.
Yeah, and if you're, I'll just move the camera real quick. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, like this is what the acoustic panels look like. They're just like these little foam pieces up there, and they're kind of expensive actually for what they are. But that it's the same stuff that comes in most gun cases. So we could use that as well. We'll just staple your gun foam on the wall.
Yeah.
There's going to be one guy that does it, and I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you, bud.
Yeah. All right, man. So I shot a match this weekend. You want to talk about it?
Did you?
I did.
Man, I was shooting a club match this weekend, and then I saw a bunch of pictures pop up on the gram, and I was like, where in the world is Dave? So where did you go this weekend?
So I went to Iberia, Missouri, which
sounds like Russia.
Yeah, it pretty much is. I honestly have no idea where Iberia is. I know it's up on the map from where I'm at, and it's about 35 minutes from Osage Beach, which is where we generally stay at Generation 3 Gun. So Osage Beach is like where all the hotels are. It's like a touristy area. So this is the Gadsden Shooting Center in Iberia. Yeah. So Chad Francis bought a range, or he bought some land, made it into a range. It's actually really nice. And that's where the Gadsden Shotgun Championship was.
Okay. And so this was at the Gadsden Shooting Center. What was the scoring system that they were using?
Let's see. So, okay. First of all, this was the 2019 edition. I shot the 2018 edition, which was a lot of fun. So this is a 1 day match. It was May 11th, and it was like time plus points kind of thing. There was no paper whatsoever. It was all steel and birds this year. The rule set was like Generation 3 gun style, as far as I could tell. And then sign up was on Practice Score. You had to mail in payment or just pay in person, which is what I chose to do. Just gave me cash when I got there.
Is Gen 3 rules, are they parroting somebody else, or do they have their own idiosyncrasies to their rules, or
There's nothing really wild about them. They're very similar to all others. You know how like um, to I just had this conversation recently with Cody Axon from Shoot Fast Podcast. Like the US PSA perception is like outlaw rules are so wildly different and they're out of control and totally unsafe. But it's the same rules you go everywhere else. There's not a whole lot of differences. There's no super surprise things like Blue Ridge. You know they have the magazine capacity. There's nothing like that. So
okay, so like
about,
flying birds aren't 20 seconds if you miss them or anything crazy.
nah.
Like
In fact, flying birds are only like 5 seconds.
all right.
Yeah. So, real quick, backing up a little bit here. This is obviously the 11th, and then 12th was Mother's Day, so a light match, and it was hard to find a travel partner to go to this one, and coming from Austin area, it's about 10 and a half hours, so it made sense to get a travel partner. So ran through the usual suspects around here. Most guys are married, so they have like obligations with the wife and stuff like that. I almost got young Riley Croft to come with me, but unfortunately he had to work. Last minute, call up James Gill. James, you want to go shoot a shotgun match? He's like, yes, I do. So I went with James Gill, and we brought little Parker along, my dog.
Boom.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great travel partner in Mr. Gill there, and we had a lot of fun. And I learned a ton on the road out and the road back. Like it was basically 2 10-hour class periods. It was awesome.
Class periods, you say?
Yeah, like any question you have about shooting whatsoever, you just ask James, and then he'll go off for like 45 minutes, and then you just ask the next question. It was awesome.
Okay, so you learned lots of useful information about shooting, not the history of James or
Oh no, I mean I
where
learned
babies
a lot.
come from or anything like that.
I learned a lot about the history of James, and heard some interesting stories from his time in the military too, for sure. But toward like um when I set up hotel plans, it was Riley that was coming with me, and so the idea was I told Gene and Jennifer, like, I'll have him back for lunch on Mother's Day. So we left right after the match to come home. Didn't stay the night on Saturday. And so about 4:20 in the morning is when James drove like the entire way. He was a champ. About 4:20 in the morning was when he started to kind of lose it a little bit. And like you could tell he was getting a little weary. And so that's when like the super technical questions came out, where I'm sitting there with like Street Lock, and we're talking about zeros and truing your zero and cone of fire and stuff like that. So
140 yard zero.
Well, that's what we arrived at, of course. And,
yeah.
But if you're a good travel partner and you're in the passenger seat, here's my tip: sleep right away, right? And then in the time that you need to keep the driver awake, that's when you pull out the questions and try to keep their mind going.
Yeah. Don't let them sit quietly in the dark.
Nah. I slept from pretty much shortly like after we left there. So from like 7 o'clock to like 9:30, I slept, and then after that I woke up and I was like pretty much awake. And then I wanted to sleep at 4 in the morning, but that's like the clutch time when you got to be up for your partner there.
Yeah. That's my pet peeve too on this is I can drive all night if adequately prepared, but I need to start before it gets dark.
Yes.
Okay. If you're the guy who says I'll take the first shift and you drive until like 9 o'clock, you're a dick.
Wait,
Okay,
didn't you do that to me when we went to Tennessee?
maybe.
Yes, and
Well, no, I think I drove later than that, but
much later.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, I was like, you need to, in my opinion, you need to span that normal time of going to bed. Because like, if you're trying to wake somebody up at the time they're normally going to bed, that's hard. You at least need to like let them sleep a little bit, and you need to take a bite out of that first part of the night because that happened to me so many times in years past. People were like, "Oh yeah, I'll drive first," and then like at 10 o'clock, they're like, "All right, I'll switch. You can do it now." So it's like all I have is 6 hours of dark, and I'm trying to wake up, and it's just
Yeah.
that's my pet peeve. It's like I'll drive all night, but you gotta let me start early, otherwise.
On the way back from Vegas one time for a Spartan race, my pal Wade and I were driving, and he's taking the first road, and we may have partied a little hard the night before, and so we're both like tired, and we're like talking because it's the morning, and then right about like 10 or noon or something, I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna fade off for a little while, and I just got to sleep, and I hear the womp 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 of the rumble strips, and he grabs my arm, and he's like, "You gotta drive." he like slams on the brakes and pulls off onto this scenic overlook. I was like, holy shit. Like I just got to sleep. So now it's my turn to drive and I've got like 86 seconds of sleep. I'm like, so but yeah, he was out. So that was an emergency audible that we had to call there, but that's typical of road trips.
Yep. But so you drove all night, and then this is a 1-day match, right? So
yeah, so
what kind of
1 day
schedule are you
match.
on?
So what we did was we drove out there Friday. We left we left like right around 10 a.m. and then we drove all the way through, got the hotel, went and had lunch, or excuse me, dinner, and then hit the Walmart. By the way, Friday night, Osage Beach, before Memorial Day, absolutely nothing happening. Now this is like a resort town, so it's like it's like party central from Memorial to Labor Day, but absolutely nothing going on. So the only restaurant that was open was like a local club or like a local bar, and it was a local bar in a resort town. It was awesome. So yeah, we had we had dinner there, did the usual Walmart trip, picked up some last minute buckshot stuff like that, and then shot all day Saturday.
So you had a late night Walmart run too?
Yep.
Did you have some good Walmart people watching?
We did, and we were the people. So James bought a like a Budweiser tank top, like America
Nice.
tank top, and then unfortunately it was rainy all day, so he couldn't wear it while we were shooting. But yeah, we were those guys at Walmart. Like, oh yeah, we need some ammo, we need some bug spray, and a Budweiser tank top.
Nobody's gonna mess with you though, because like of all the things in Walter's world that you wanted, all that you wanted at whatever time of night was Budweiser, shotgun shells, and American flag T-shirt. Like you're not to be messed with.
Yep, and like a unreasonable amount of Monster for a 2-day trip.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Okay.
I can pretty much consume any amount of Monster.
Yeah. You and James, man, you guys could go toe to toe.
That sounds like a challenge for another day.
Yeah, for sure. I want to be there for that.
So when you got there, how many shooters actually showed up for this thing? You said it was a little bit light on attendance.
Yeah, so it was way light on attendance. So last year it was at like X time, and then X weekend this year was the same as NRA annual meeting. So like nobody was going to go, right?
Yeah.
And so Chad changed it to like the only other weekend where it didn't have like a conflict with another match. And unfortunately, that was Mother's Day weekend, which presents its own little difficulties. So it was mostly local folks. Like Di Muller was there because her father lives about 30 minutes north. So she's able to combine that with a trip. Dylan Easley was there. Billy York came from Kansas, and then most everyone else was from Missouri. And then, of course, James and I from Tejas. So there were 17 shooters, 18 if you count Dylan shooting both open and tac ops.
Ah, yes. Oh, wait. So, so 17 shooters. So like one big squad. Oh,
No,
really?
we did two squads and rotated around, and we never ran into the other squad.
Oh, I imagine not.
Yeah,
Um, so do you think now? So maybe digress a little bit here, but like,
sure.
so in this age of there's a match every weekend, like everyone's trying to do a major match every
Hmm.
weekend. Like, do you think are they really trying to sell 300 tickets to this thing, or do you think it's just a meant to be a bit of an extravaganza for a really strong, you know, Central America, Missouri crew?
What I think is that this is a like a mini major, right? With a very bad weekend because like trying to get away on Mother's Day to shoot a match is like there's okay, so there's this amount of people that want to shoot shotgun match, right? Or
Yep.
this amount of people that want to shoot a match. This amount of people want to shoot shotgun match. This amount of people that are willing to ask for the time from their family on Mother's Day weekend. This amount of people that actually do ask for the time. This amount of people that get the time, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think unfortunately it was just like overcome by events. However, the people that were there shot an awesome match. So, it like Dylan reposted my video from the match and called it a hidden gem. It's like, bro, you got to say that like 2 months before the match so other people won't come to this hidden gem.
Yeah.
So, um, like I said, I think it's like a mini major. The amount of space that Chad has at that range, it could easily be a major with 250 people easily. Of course, it would have to turn into like a 2-day match and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also, elephant in the room, no prize table. So, several people that I talked to about the match asked about prize table. I'm like, oh, there's no prize table, and then it was like kind of radio silence. So I think we have our answer there that we've been searching for for a while. But yeah,
I think you're
I
going to
don't.
see more of that. Um,
Yeah,
it's only so many prizes to go around. There's lots of people who want to put on a good match. It doesn't hinder my interest in shooting a match at all. So,
yeah.
um,
Well, the other thing is, this is all shotgun, right? And is so it's got several things going against it, right? Um, there's the stigma that comes with an all shotgun match of, oh, shotgun's hard. There's the no prize table, and then it's on Mother's Day. Um, but shit, man, I love shotgun. I really I've I don't really need anything off the price table, as you can tell behind me. Like I have a whole rifle that's not assembled yet. Um, and you know, I wasn't going to be able to get to Colorado for Mother's Day anyway, so already made plans to do that in August. So, um,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate that there was that few people there, but I'm excited that he's still freaking held it, even though
yeah.
there was 17 shooters.
I think a 1 day match is kind of hard to draw a big number of people. Like I feel like I don't like the term major anymore because
Yeah, me too.
it's overused and what does it mean? But like what we're talking about is destination matches,
Yeah,
destination events, and I feel like a destination event to travel more than a few hours from your home, you know, I feel like it should be 2 days. So I,
yeah.
I feel
Well,
like
and like I said, like if this was 250 people, it would be 2 days. But
yeah,
since
yeah,
there's only 18, there's no need to stretch it out.
yeah. I feel it's kind of like a chicken and the egg
Yeah.
question though. It's like, well, is it 1 day because nobody shows up, or if they made it 2 days, would more people come? So
Well, and the we've talked about it before with like the glut of 3-gun matches, whether they're majors, mini majors, or wannabes. Right now, it's hard to fill a shotgun match. Like,
oh yeah,
was it like 5 years ago? 5 years ago?
has it been that long?
7 years ago was the Pikes Peak Shotgun Challenge, and dude, there was like big name Jersey dudes that came in for that one in Colorado,
Yeah,
and that was a 1-dayer, I think.
it seems so historical now. I heard that in another video the other day when Garantham did a video on the Mark 12. It came out in 2002, and he's like, "Oh, it's a historical fire," and then he pauses and he's like, "It's kind of sad when 2002 is history now."
Yeah,
That's kind of how some of those shotgun matches were, especially like the Nordic shotgun match too. Like it's definitely an era, and it definitely has passed. So, but yeah, that was a 1-day match, and there were guys certainly from the Midwest that would drive to it. I never went, and I regret it. I
Yeah,
wish I would
I
have
guess
gone.
I guess Ruben went to it, and I
Yeah,
didn't. We didn't know each other at the time, and I wouldn't have been able to pick him out of a crowd if someone told me Ruben was there. But yeah. So anyway,
so what divisions did they recognize at this match?
so they had open, like TAC limited, right? So just TO type of shotgun, and then heavy, and there were no competitors in heavy. Which in retrospect, I should have went with the easy win and brought out my pump.
Yeah, so they laid the bait for the pump guys, and nobody took them up on it, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Maybe next year I'll shoot pump, but so open division, Dylan easily won that one. So turns out Dylan bought a dissident Vepr on the way home from Vortex Shooter Source. Like bought one from a dude that was like, oh, I'm thinking about switching divisions or something. And so yeah, he showed up with both his Roth XB3 or whatever it's called, his Benelli with the Roth Performance receiver set, and a dissonant gun. And yeah, so he won open division. James took second in open division, and Michael Ritchie took third in open division. So
what was the spread there? Did you look at that?
Yeah, it was like 100 and then like 85%. So
okay.
I think let me double check that. But then Dylan also won TAC ops.
Dylan, you're making open look too easy.
Stop it. For sure. But if that's what he wants to do, I hope he's happy.
Yeah, right. I hope he's. No, I don't hope he's happy.
I don't know. It seems like he's enjoying it. Like he's. I was talking to him about, is he going to be shooting primarily open or what? And it sounds like he's just kind of using all his fun guns for like the right tool for the job. Some stuff he's going to be shooting. What's it called? Some stuff he's going to be shooting open. Some stuff he's going to be shooting TAC, and some stuff he's going to be shooting else. I misspoke. It was 96%. So Dylan put like 4% on James. And then third place was 88%.
Oh, okay. So it was pretty close then.
It was pretty tight. Yeah. I think what I was thinking of was TAC or TAC ops. Yeah. So Dylan put about 14% on second place Diana Muller, and then Billy York bringing up third at 84.3%. So
interesting.
Yeah, good stuff. Shot with Billy York last year. Good dude.
Yeah, I've met Billy in the past too. I like him.
Yeah,
I haven't shot with him in a while, but
yeah, I think those are the only 2 times I've met him. And funny dude, good attitude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
So, what would you say the flavor of the match is?
Shotgun, baby.
Yeah,
shotgun. So definitely like multiple disciplines of shotgun. There was a lot of jungle runs. So like 3-4 jungle runs. There was like an all slug stage that you shot like 3 plates off of a plate rack with slugs like 60 yards, and then tons more BC zones. There was an all buckshot stage. There was a stage with bird and buckshot. By the way, no thrown birds, only toasters.
Lame.
Yeah. So that
shotgun match got to have thrown birds.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. So for future, if I had like, hey, here's one thing you could do to improve it. Yeah, throw some birds at me. But
you can't get the 10 out of 10 without thrown birds.
Yeah. But there's like super fast base stuff. Like one of the stages was like from a bathtub. Like you start sitting in a bathtub, and then you shoot this array. And it was pretty far away. It wasn't too far away, but this is also a match where you had to change chokes, so that was kind of fun. But it was about a 4.5 second stage, and then there was other stages that were 30 some seconds because they were jungle runs. So that part was kind of cool.
So 2 questions out of that. So is this some of these bigger stages? Were they the kind of stages where it's like you needed to buy 3 more caddies than you normally use? Was there like the really high, absurdly high round count stages, or were they all more in that like within the round count that most people have equipment for?
I think you might have had to borrow something. However, there were not many people borrowing things on my squad, which in retrospect I should have just like forced alone, you know. And so some people ended up with not enough shells to complete the stage because of misses and stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think the highest round count was like 32. I think was like 32 bird and like 8 buck. You know, so like
Okay.
40. So
Okay.
40 is completely reasonable. Like I have a 32 and a 24 chest rig, and then 212 on the belt, and then I have like another 8 and a few 4s, but I only brought the 12s and the chest rig because I was like, you know, anything more than this on my belt, and I'm just gonna go to the chest rig, and that's what I did.
Okay. And then what was the buckshot stage? Because those can be really good or they can be really lame.
Yeah. So the buckshot stage had 9 poppers. All right. So division capacity is 9. So 9 poppers. You were in a car with your shotgun pointed at a dot on the door, and then on the buzzer engage the popper. So it was a fast stage, but if you went too fast, you only got like 3 or 4 pellets on the poppers, and they were those very large USPSA poppers, and they were set super heavy. So it goaded a lot of people into going like way too fast, going to like emergency bolt lock reloads, and then just running out of buckshot because they're like, oh yeah, it's 9, I'll just bring 9. So it was one of those. But then the other jungle run with buck had like 12 by 12 plates that were really far away, and I want to say that those were like 25 to 30 yards or something like that. Um, something like that, but they weren't too hard because they're just sitting on a little pedestal, but you had to hit them, so you had to know your pattern on that.
So so how many stages was it?
There were 13 scored stages plus one stage that was scored on its own, so 14 total.
Scored on its own because it was thrown out, or
No, because it was a optional stage. You didn't have to stick around and shoot it if you didn't want to, because it was from a UTV, and they set up 40 birdshot targets, and then they would drive as fast as you were shooting them.
oh, competitive equity.
Yeah,
That's a good call. So with 13 stages, then I guess what I'm hearing then is it's kind of like they used to do it at Nordic, where like they had a few big stages, but for every big stage there was like 2 or 3 little ones.
yeah, I think that's right.
So they kind of mixed it up with both kind of like the real skills standard
Hmm.
C type stages, and then
Hmm.
they had some big field courses.
Yeah, and there was one stage where you had to start empty with the bolt forward. And then there was a couple stages that like you had to stand on something,
Mhm.
and like a 4x6 that was turned on the 6 side. So, and it was probably like 18 inches long, and it was uh perpendicular to the stage, so it was like the 180 line,
Yep.
and so when your feet are on it and you shoot, you kind of rock back. You couldn't like stagger yourself, so that threw a lot of people for a loop, including myself, where instead of just taking a step back, stepping off, and then stepping back on and shooting again, I just kind of like rocked and waited for myself to come back, and that ate up like at least 3 seconds for that one stupid move. But and then there was ones where Chad has this American flag on his range that has ports cut in it.
Mhm.
So you're loading, going to a low port and shooting, loading, going into high port and shooting, and then there was walls that were separating the arrays in there. But while you were doing that, you were also standing on like boxes that they had made, and you had the thing said you had to have your feet on the boxes. So if you kneeled, then you had to kneel in such a manner that your foot was still on the box. You couldn't kneel and have your foot hanging off the box. So that gave like at a significant advantage to people that were limber and of small stature. So yeah,
Okay.
it was good.
All
But yeah, so we kind of talked getting
right.
into skills there, awkward
Yeah.
positions.
Now were they awkward positions, like awkward positions that people have shot from before, or is it like really awkward, like nobody's ever fathomed a way to shoot a shotgun this way?
Nah, stuff that you would normally expect, like be done in a USPSA match kind of thing. Like if you had your pistol, wouldn't be a big deal at all. You know, you just bend over and shoot. But because
Yeah.
it's a shotgun and it's unwieldy, and you're trying to get a good cheek weld, and now you're like kind of rolled over. And
Mhm.
there was one where one of the toasters that tossed a bird, like it went into an area where I couldn't get it, but that was like my body mechanics, you know, because
Mhm.
I was shooting through a port where I saw a young lady that was on our squad and a junior shooter hit them no problem, you know, but it was just like their body mechanics. They're much smaller than I was, and they were able to um, start from a position that enabled them to hit it, like where I ran just right into the wall and I wasn't able to shoot it with my shotgun. I ran in the wall with the shotgun. So yeah, I don't think they were too hard, but it was definitely like, okay, well, let's think about what I'm going to be doing here, and then maybe that'll change my mind if I'm wearing belt gear or chest rig on this stage, because if I got to bend over completely and scrunch up, I'm going to wear a chest rig and I'm going to wear it high. Where if I'm just going to stand and deliver, I can use my belt gear, you know, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Or if I'm going to
Okay.
be in a car, maybe I'll throw the chest rig on.
Okay. So I guess I've never been to this range. So what is the terrain like there? I'm picturing like like a quarter mile off the paved road in Branson.
Pretty much. So it's it's like rolling hilly kind of stuff. Um, and it was like lightly raining almost the entire time, and it reminded me of have you ever seen the movie Flight of the Navigator?
No, I have
It
not.
was probably 10 years before your time, but it's like a Disney movie, and this kid like falls in a wooded area, and then he's picked up by aliens, and he's returned like 15 years later or something like that.
Mhm.
But it reminded me of that, like, because the foliage is thick, and so Chad like paints the bases of the targets orange, so you know where they're all at, you know, just in
Mhm.
case like a target falls down before you get there. And yeah, so a lot of like rolling hilly kind of stuff. Um, and Missouri hills, right? So there's like, you know, grass and just friggin' leaves everywhere and tons of trees and stuff like that. And they've got like 1,000 yard range out there. It might be even farther than 1,000 yards. I know they run precision matches. They just built a tower to shoot from. They have like all these precision rifle barricade type stuff, and like one of them is a beer keg, which I thought was kind of fun. To be a fun PRS position to shoot from.
Yeah.
Plenty of places for jungle runs. They have like got like this little ravine area which we shot in, which was cool. That we didn't get to shoot in last year, but I know he bought some more land, so that might be on the expansion part of it. Um, so and then he has, I think he has like 3 or 4 bays, like what you would consider like USPSA style bays, but only 2 stages in those bays this year. Where last year we had more. I think we got more open terrainy this year, and like I said, no paper targets this year. Last year there were paper targets because everyone was preparing for the shotgun world shoot, so they had IPSC targets out there to score, but no paper targets this year.
Now does Chad hold another major match out here? Or is this the only big match that he puts on?
So they do the Missouri 3 gun series, which alternates between Gadsden shooting range and Lead Farm, which is the Logan Bills range,
Yeah.
every other month. So,
Okay.
and then they have like a little series with a series finale and championship. Uh, Generation 3 gun is going to be at this range this year, and it'll be the first year it hasn't been at the traditional place in Osage Beach.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because that's where I that's where I always kind of got hung up, is like Chad's heavily associated with Generation 3. Generation 3 was over at this other range, but this is his range, but this is the only match that I ever hear about being at his range.
yep.
So So the Gen 3 championship is moving from the facility it was traditionally held at and is going to this facility.
Right. Yeah, because they had like a multi-year contract, and so now they're out of that contract. Just happened to be work out that Chad bought land and stood up this shooting center, and so now they're moving it to the Gadsden Shooting Center.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But they'll probably still do the same match hotel and things like that because it's pretty close driving distance to Osage Beach.
Oh, it's kind of like the Loganville range when they moved theirs. It was on this side of town, and then when they moved, it was on this side of town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those. Yeah, so it was a completely different facility, but like you went to the same place. It was just you just went to a different neighborhood.
Yeah. So for those listening, this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense, but like imagine like the hotels are right here, and you drive like this to go to Osage Beach, and you drive like this to go to Gadsden Shooting Center, right? So like as the crow flies, they're super far from each other, but if you're starting from the same point, they're not. It's not much farther away.
It's kind of like they're not really mountains, but they're it's a very hilly area, and they're in different valleys.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That is exactly right. And
equidistant up the valley in different valleys.
I gotta say, the area that it's in, especially right now, because the springtime is really beautiful. It's all green and rolling hill and Americana kind of thing. Yep. And James said, "Man, it's really nice here. This would be a great range if they picked it up and put it in Texas."
Something a Texan would say.
Right? Texans don't disappoint, man. I love it.
No, they don't. They don't. There's nothing. Yeah. Your doors open weird up here.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean it opens?
Yep.
All right. So let's talk about the shooting then. What was the furthest shot or number of long range? What was the tricky stuff like?
So the tricky stuff was like the all slug stage. Because for me it went like I went to the plate rack first, and it was all the stuff was between like 60 and 70 yards, I think. I didn't laser or anything. It was just like, oh, those are dead holes, So I went to the plate rack first, and it was like hit, miss, hit, and then I went to all the BC zones, and that's where everything fell off. And your shotgun barrel, no matter what barrel you're shooting, heats up, right? But I have this theory that it heats up way more when you're shooting slugs. and for whatever reason, I would guess just because there's like, a 1-inch piece of lead just scraping the crap out of the inside of that thing. And so that's when it went all to shit for me. But as far as buckshot, there's like 25 to 30 yards. There was no really hard bird shots. I think you probably could have done it with an IC. I chose to go to a improved mod in some areas. Most people went with a light mod. I don't have a light mod, so I went with the improved mod. But that's all the farther it was. There wasn't any like super Hail Mary targets or anything.
So you shot like a standard like MGM IPSC plate rack with slugs, like the standard side. Like what are they, 8-inch?
I think they were a little bit bigger. I think they were 10-inch plates, but there was 3 of them. There was 3 of them instead of 6. So I think there were.
Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever shot a plate rack with slugs.
It's really cool, dude.
Yeah. I would think like they're always very they're very precious to the people who have them. They're like, oh man, because they're expensive. So
yeah, I don't think this one was precious.
They don't always just let you bang away at their plate rack. So
yeah, in fact, this one was, it's only 3 plates. I don't think it was an MGM rack. So I don't know. Who made it.
One of those R&R ones or something like that.
I don't know. I know. I think Red Stitch makes a smaller rack like that too, but I don't. So I don't know who made it, but it didn't look like it phased it one little bit. So
yeah, it was like, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but now that I think about it, it's like I don't think I've shot a plate rack with slugs, and I suddenly really want to.
Yeah. So. If you get the chance, I highly recommend doing it. It was really cool, and it's very satisfying when that thing goes down because there's like no sort of there's nothing like it, right? Because there's no halfway in between. It's not going to creep over. It's over.
Yeah, it's an ounce of lead.
Yeah. Yep. Or 7/8, depending on who you are.
Yeah. Right. So logistics wise, what can you tell us about this match?
Super laid back, casual. Show up, and they know who you are. Obviously, there's 17 of you, and pay your fee, and then they had like a little campfire going in the barn. That's like a pole barn.
There's a campfire in the barn.
Pole barn, so half of it's exposed.
Hmm.
Yep. So campfire in the barn. Everybody's sitting around. We showed up exactly on time, precisely on time, and so then we got grouped in our squads and headed out from there. Yeah. So Brian Corey was there running scoring, and he brought targets and helped set up and things like that too.
Nice.
Scoring via practice score, self-ROing, self-scoring. No prize table.
No prize table.
Mm-hmm.
Were they watching the edits?
Yes. In fact, Brian Corey had to edit something for me, and he made a big production out of it.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So what do you think about the self-ROing concept? Like, do you think we're going to see more of that in the future?
I mean, I think it's just like a club match. Mm-hmm. If there were more people there to justify it, then you could justify ROs, but it was just like a club match. That said, we need to do a better job of volunteering to do shit. And Di gave the iPad to her father to score. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Di's father is a little bit older than most of us, and maybe not so familiar with how touchpads work. And so we found on the way home, James and I found several scoring errors that didn't really amount to like changing the outcome of the match. But it was like, oh, I bet this. Yep, that was that stage. Yep, that's when Di gave the iPad to her father. So,
oh,
yeah, one of them was there's this kid Evan Craig. I think he said he was 12 years old. Really nice young man. His father was there, and his grandparents were there watching him shoot. And he stepped up and just absolutely smoked the slug stage. Just laid waste. To where when he was done, we're like, "Are you seriously done?" I mean, just annihilated it. It was amazing. He did really good, and so it was like a 24 or something like that. But then when we looked at his score later, it was a 12. Like that doesn't add up.
Yep.
So that skewed the curve for everyone else. It when I ran those in Practice Score Competitor app, it did change the outcome of TAC Ops just a little bit. Just swapped like the 5th and 6th or the 7th and 8th or something around, but it wasn't like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd change. So
I got this weird idea in my head, and I don't know how to do it, but I got this concept of like a match where it's like it takes a tribe match. Like everybody has to do something. I even hate saying it that way because it's kind of like when you go to Thanksgiving and they say everybody has to play the game. Like, let's play a game and everyone has to play. It's like, well, if it was such a sweet idea, I would just want to play on my own.
Yeah, right.
But like, there's some matches, we're kind of talking about some of our issues with finding staff people. It's like, well, what if there's the match where like everybody, you had to contribute something. You don't necessarily have to be an RO, but like if everybody did something.
But that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
but it's not happening. So I was just trying to think of
a tough one.
Like, I'm rolling it around. So, what can you tell us about the venue as far as ease of access and things like that?
Super easy to access, super easy to miss. I miss it every time I've gone there, which is twice. And
wait, so how do you know when you've missed it? Because I always miss the range when I go to Missouri too. It's like you get way down the road. It's like, all right, I don't know where it was, but I drove past it.
Yeah, well, the first time I missed it, it was one of those where like it clears up from all the addresses and Google says like, you have arrived, and you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing here now, and so you realize like, oh, it was back there.
Yeah.
And then this time it was, we got to that point. And it was like, oh, this looks familiar because this is where I overshot it last time. So that was it. But the land that Chad bought has a house on it, and so like the range is in the backyard. So from the road you can't tell that it's a shooting range.
Is it his house?
No, it's he's got a tenant.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, but knowing the address on the mailbox will help you, and it's 535, which Chad pointed out. He's like 535, man. Just look for the mailbox. I'm like, can you not put like a sign in the road for me or something?
Come
So
on, man.
Gen 3, there better be a big ass IWI sign in the road or something like that, so I know where it is. But
I just know those long, windy back roads go like for days,
yeah,
and I'll just keep going, thinking like, no, I'll see something, and then I'll see the 1967 pickup truck with the wood slats on the side, like the Beverly Hillbillies, and that's when I'm like, wait a minute, maybe we've gone too far.
No, that's when you know you're in the right place. But yeah, it's kind of funny because you know, if you've ever hung with me,
And
I like to be extremely on time, which is a fun way of saying I'm usually late for stuff. And so at like 7:55 in the morning, when you're trying to make this match and you're trying not to be late, maybe you're going double the speed limit on these back Missouri roads,
would not
and
recommend that in Texas.
yeah. So I got a funny story to tell you off air.
Okay.
But yeah, so maybe you're speeding, right? And then that's how you overshoot it.
Allegedly.
And so that's exactly what we did. But the funny thing was, Chad Francis calls me right as we zinged past the entrance, and you can't see the road from the barn, but he called and like, "Hey, you guys coming?" Right as we zinged past, and so he I was like, "Yeah, we just overshot it. We're pulling a UE here," and so he's like, "5:35, man. Look for the mailbox." So, by the way,
535.
you may want to confirm that number if you're actually going to the range. That's just what I remember. It could be wrong.
Yes, always confirm the match address before
Yeah.
embarking on your journey.
Yeah, but this will be the venue for Gen 3, so hopefully there's a big IWI sign out front since they're the title sponsor. But I'm looking for it. So the old range was
signal.
yeah, there
That's
you
what I
go.
need.
That'd be
Yep.
cool. The old range was cool. It had the pond that you got to shoot in. So this range, I mean, this is going to be nice because they don't have to bring all their steel out there. It's already on Chad's range and everything, so they'll just be setting up stages and everything. So I'm really looking forward to shooting Gen 3 at this range, and I'm also hoping for dry weather.
It's Missouri. It's not going to be dry.
Mm-hmm.
Always rains in Missouri. Usually rains in Texas.
Yes.
Only
Only in springtime.
Yeah. So what was pre-com like on this match?
So just enough info. Round count was given out. You knew where it was and you knew to show up and have a good time. They kind of told you it's going to be all steel. There'll be some birds. There'll be the optional 14th stage, and then that was about it. Oh, they said they're going to be providing dinner, which is stir fry, which Macy usually makes, but Katie had to make this time because Macy graduated from high school. And then if you want to buy lunch, it's like $6. And they came around with like cheeseburgers and pulled pork and around lunchtime and sodas and stuff like that. So you kind of had a break and chat with Chad and Brian Corey and stuff. So it was good.
Nice. What would you say the fun factor was of this one?
Oh, I forgot to mention the round count. So in the email was the round count, 200 bird, which was almost I think it was like perfect 200, and then 25 buck and 25 slug were really close to accurate. One thing that I did was I don't have the box here anymore, but double A's now come in a 100 pack at Walmart.
Yes.
And they're actually a pretty good value too. So unfortunately, the one that I went to had 1250s feet per second and 1145s. So I bought 2 packs of the 1250s, and then they had no more 1250s, and I didn't want to chance it on the 1145s because I like to go 12 and up. So I went with 200, and I'm thinking like, oh, I think I have I think I have a box of double A's somewhere in the shop, which I can't find it. So apparently I did not. So I had to sub in some just like Federal bulk pack at the end.
Yeah.
And so with the amount of shot shells that I shot and considering like I missed a few times, I think he was like right on for the round count, which is pretty unusual in this game. So that was pretty cool.
It is very unusual in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, staff, you basically had Chad and Brian Corey. They were cool, totally laid back, just there to have a good time. And then, like I said, they provided dinner, which was cool, just sitting around the campfire and talking. Yeah. And you asked about fun factor.
What's the fun factor?
I think high fun factor. Like I love shooting all shotgun matches. It definitely pointed out some deficiencies in my personal game. As far as like on a 5-second stage, if you miss one shot and you have to go to the sorry, dog's down here. He woke up. If you have to go to like your match saver, you just added 25% to your stage. If you miss 2 shots and you have to go to like a bolt lock reload, you just doubled your stage time. So that part was kind of interesting. Really fast quads, just taking a half step. And then of course jungle run. So you need to be like a well-rounded shotgun shooter in like all aspects of it. Mm-hmm. So that I really enjoy. And I'll be honest, man, like I love shooting shotgun like a lot, like probably way more than I should, because it's like overall like a pretty impractical gun. Like I don't have like or I have a home defense shotgun. I don't use it or keep it ready for use. For practical purposes, like for me, it's carbine and pistol, but I freaking love the shotgun. It's one of my favorite guns. So one of my 3 favorite guns.
Yeah. I mean, so for me, like, I mean, everyone's like, a lot of time, not everyone, but a lot of people's, oh, the shotgun sucks, blah, blah, blah. Why don't we do more 2-gun? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everything you shoot with a shotgun makes noise, falls over, or explodes. So it's just fun. I don't really care about the practical aspect of it. It's just fun. It's this is a game. It's kind of that horse mentality of shooting. It's like, oh well, can we shoot it like this? Yeah, okay. Here's a shot that's possible. Can you do it? Can I do it? I'll do it faster.
Yeah.
So
and that's a perfect way to describe this match. It's the makes noise, falls down, or goes or explodes match. It was cool.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and not to say like shotguns aren't dangerous, but like as far as projectiles go, like you can get away with a lot of stuff as far as like backstop and the kinds of targets you can shoot and the things you can do with them that you just can't do with single projectile guns, because you got to worry about ricochets and things of that nature. But so I think shotgun lends itself more to just fun out of the box things to do, whereas with pistols and rifles, I mean, we pretty much either have paper targets and there's various ways to present them, or steel at a safe distance. So
yeah. And then like I said, the 14th stage, which was optional and scored separately, but I think almost everyone except for someone who had to beat feet right away shot it. But it was from a UTV. So you've got a driver and you've got a RO in the back, and you've got, your cameraman, and you're loaded up with shot shells and as fast as you can load and shoot. And I mean, you're doing drive-bys. I mean, you don't get to do that much, and there's all this fall down steel and everything. And it's probably, I don't know, it was probably like a quarter mile long. There's 40 targets. Like, that's exciting. That's a lot of fun.
Where else are you going to get to do that? I mean, there's not very many places.
Missouri.
So, I mean, like that's where why would I make the drive? That's why you would drive. Cause it's like, okay, they set up something that you can't just do anywhere.
Right. Well, and like I like the mission of Generation 3 gun a lot. And because that appeals to me, like I became friends with the Francises, Chad and Katie and Julie Macy, all them. But so, and part of my mission this year is to support good people doing good things, and they're good people. and they're doing good things. And so that's why I drove that far for that 1 day match. And so, and it's a fun shoot. It's a good time. So I liked it. Super laid back. Will Dog's hacking up a lung over here. So definitely will go again.
Awesome, man.
And you should too. Everybody come with me.
Well, I probably can't do it on Mother's Day, but
yeah.
I mean,
he promises next year it's not gonna be on Mother's Day.
It keeps floating around on my calendar. I forgot about it this year, and then I was like, oh yeah, that thing. I forgot all about it. But who knows?
Yeah,
maybe I'll give Missouri another chance.
You should, man. You should.
Here's the real question: Is the plural of Francis Franci?
That's a good question. I was thinking that as I said it. The Franci. I'm gonna go with Francis's.
Katie, can you chime in here?
Yeah.
All right. So, favorite part of the show: funny things that happened at the match.
All right. Well, if you include lots and lots of shotgun malfunctions, then I had a lot of funny things that happened at the match. Like I don't know what's going on with shotgun springs lately, but I swear to God, they're not lasting as long as they used to. And I swear my first shotgun, like I did not even know it was possible to change the shotgun spring, and I shot that for like 3 or 4 years, right?
Yep.
And now I feel like I'm changing shotgun springs, or should, for every single match. And I didn't change it for this match. I think the last time I changed it was for a club match in like January or March, but I haven't shot since then. Like I haven't shot a major match this year at all. My dog is caught up in the cords over there. He got caught up in the cords of the lights that are behind the camera, and then he just gave up and laid down.
I wish my dog would do that. He would just tear everything down. Like,
yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to for a minute, but he's
fade to black.
He's 10 now. Oh, here he goes. I was talking about him. Oh, there it is. Pause for a minute. Vamp for a minute.
the big I got up from my nap. Dog stretch. Blind leading the blind. Dave is chasing Parker around the studio. I've seen Parker go past the camera, but I have not seen Dave. Don't know if he's okay. I hope so. Oh, there he's back. All right. He's got his headphones on.
He's okay. What'd you talk about while I was gone?
I got this little gem for later. You'll get it in post-op.
Nice. What were we talking about? Shotguns. Oh yeah, malfunctions. So yeah, the last 2 rounds of my magazine tube were not coming out effectively, and so like you'd have the second to last round come out partially, sit on the lifter, shotgun locks back, you go the Dave move of trying to get your match saver in there, and now you just induced like another jam. So now you have like a Type 34 jam, I think is what it's called. And
seems legit.
Yep, Type 34 malfunction. And then now you got to get that one round out and the other round out, and then go back into your load plan and stuff. So that made it kind of unenjoyable. I actually so the Breda, when you add the standard Briley tube to it, is a 13 round instead of 12 round. So I took a spent shell and cut the crimp off, and then put that in there to add like an extra 2.5 inches of tension, which I thought would work. And that worked for one stage, but it didn't work much after that. So definitely need a new spring. I didn't have any springs because I gave my last one away. Oh, that's the last time I changed so the last time I changed my spring was for Joe Farewell's class. And then I gave my spare spring away at that class to a guy that was having the same problem. But I'm now to the point where I'm just going to go buy like 20 freaking springs, and I'm going to change them before every match. Because it totally killed this match for me, and took me out of the running. I mean, like I had like I didn't do so well on the slug stage, and I can't blame that on the spring, but I had like a stage where I was like 30%, and then I had a stage win, And that was the one I never reached the bottom of my magazine tube. So, so it was kind of frustrating, but I don't. This part is not like a funny thing that happened at the match, but kind of a fun thing. So, we walk up late. James and I do. We register, and then this little guy comes up, and like I said, I think he's 12. His name's Evan Craig, and he says, "Hi, I'm Evan Craig," and shakes my hand. I'm like, "Well, hi, I'm Dave Hartman," and just like, "Oh, that was nice," introduced himself like a proper human, and then he was on our squad. And this kid shot really awesome, and he's a little rough around some edges, and he's moving fast, shooting, and he had like moments of like, wow, that kid's amazing for 12, and then moments of like, oh yeah, he's still 12, But overall, like a super great kid, really a lot of potential as far as shooters go. So it was cool to see that, and I love seeing juniors that are shooting well and taking it seriously. And I talked to his dad, and his dad's not a 3-gunner, but he shoots USPSA.
Okay.
But it was interesting watching him because you get the sense like he might be learning some of his moves from Instagram. Like he might be combing some Instagram of dudes that we know just by the way that he was moving. And I was thinking like, okay, that I don't think he picked up locally, because I don't know shooters that shoot like that. So the only thing I could like local shooters that shoot like that. So the only thing I think of is like, oh, he picked up that like watching Instagram or something like that. And I thought it was kind of interesting. The other thing is he's got like, he's got 12-year-old dude hands, and he's stuffing quads. And so he would probably drop 30% of his quads. And I was thinking like, that kid's fast enough that if he just stuck to deuces, then he would be much more successful. But the quads that he did stick, like he stuck really well, but it was just not every single time. And I don't know, just like I like watching young people progress in the sport, and this is the first time like I'd ever shot with or was like pretty much aware of that kid. So that was probably one of the funnest parts of the match, was watching him stage plan and watching him load up with like all the shotgun shells all over his tiny little body, and just every little nook and cranny he could carry him, and he did really well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, like you say, if his dad only shoots USPSA, like there's a lot of hard learned lessons that are going to be along the way there. So I would just kind of boggles my mind how somebody learns from somebody, from someone who doesn't have the full breadth of knowledge. You can see where like the dad shoots 3 guns, so the kid shoots USPSA.
Yep.
But like if the dad was a hardcore USPSA shooter, like I don't know that maybe the father is very competent in long guns as well. But like, there's things about the rifle that just don't translate from USPSA that either someone has to tell you or you figured out the hard way, and he hasn't been in the kid hasn't been in the game long enough to figure it out the hard way. So yeah, when you say about learning it from Instagram and YouTube, that's I think there's a lot more of that going on than we might think, and it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. Especially you're just watching the sport progress from. I mean, because the sport was around before the internet.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not before the internet. Before Facebook.
But when I first started,
YouTube,
you had to
for sure.
You had to print off an application and mail it in with a check. So we've come from that analog state to now this is something you can consume online, learn how to do off your phone. So
yeah. So Evan Craig, if you ever listen to this, it's great shooting with you, man. It was fun watching you shoot, and hope you stick with it and get better. It was pretty cool.
Hats off to you, bud.
Hats off. Yeah, absolutely. So that is the match recon of the Gadsden Shotgun Championship 2019 edition.
One of the few remaining tactical shotgun matches in the country. So
yeah. And gosh, I can't tell you how many dudes I talked to that like, oh, I would love to, but I already am on thin ice with this, and I couldn't get away from Mother's Day. So hopefully You know, I was talking to Chad, and he's going to look for a better weekend next year, and hopefully more people can make it work, because this was a ton of fun. It would be great to see a lot of people there.
Yeah, hold me to it next year. Hold me to it next year, and we'll try to make it happen.
Okay, I will. All shotgun, baby. It's right up your alley.
Yep. 3 flats, and we're on our way.
Yeah, baby. All right. Amax, thanks for doing the match recon with me, man. Always appreciate your time. And to all the people listening out there, all the patrons, thank you.
That's who we do it for.
We do it for the patrons.
Do it for the patrons.
Yeah, thank you for supporting the show. Always appreciate you. And if you're listening to this in the future and you want to know what we're talking about, check out patreon.com/3gunshow. That's Patreon. I'm Dave Hartman for Adam Maxwell. We'll see you on the range.
Bye-bye, everyone.